you. Just give me a holler. Okay, Andrew, you good? Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the March 25th Board of Selectmen's meeting. If you could please rise and say the pledge along with me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, folks. Very administrative meeting this evening with a few excellent presentations, or at least, actually a few. First up, let's talk minutes of the regular meeting from March 11th. Looking for a motion either way.
Motion to accept.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous. The Bosch, Community Relations.
Charlton Candidates Forum, it's Saturday, April 19th. That's from 1 to 2:30 in Charlton Public Library at Dexter Hall. Come and meet the candidates running in the May 3rd annual town election. I believe you can submit the questions ahead of time to Kathleen Walker if you have any specific ones. Annual town election is Saturday, May 3rd, and that's from 8 to 8 at Heritage School. Annual town meeting is Monday, May 19th, that's at 7 p.m., Charlton Middle School. Town of Charlton open positions. Council on Aging, it's outreach coordinator, library director, library, part-time page, full-time firefighter, and an EMT. You can apply online at our town website on the Human Resources page. Charlton Pet Vaccine Clinic, Charlton Elementary School parking lot. That's at 9 Burlington Road, Saturday, April 5th, and that's from 9 to 12. Dogs must be on a leash and cats in carriers for the safety for all. Electronic recycling event, that's Saturday, April 5th, from 9 to 2 at Charlton Federated Church at 64 Main Street. Friends of Charlton Public Library will hold an yarn sale with lots of yarn, notions and patterns on Saturday, March 29th, and that is from 10 to 2 p.m. in Dexter Hall. Proceeds go to support library programming. And that's that.
Do you want to do the yard waste drop-off?
Oh, the yard waste.
And our Town of Charlton yard waste drop-off. That's for the brush, branches, grass clippings, leaves at DPW. April 12th from April 12th, 19th, and 26th, and May 3rd. That's from 10 to 2 p.m. That's open to Charlton residents only. No containers.
Thank you, Basha. Anyone here for community forum? And I'm going to defer to Select Person Singer. Could have your name and address, please.
Bill Borowski, David Singer, 2 Killy Drive, selectman, but I'm also a resident, and I wanted to address the board and the town as a resident about this. I went to the last school committee meeting to ask them about something that had occurred recently with the MTA, the Mass Teachers Association, where they had released blatantly anti-Semitic and pro-terrorist propaganda as teaching materials for the teachers to use to teach the students. I went to the school committee to ask if they were aware and if they had taken any action. It seems as though the members of the committee were not aware, but the superintendent said that he was. And his answer to me when I had asked if they had taken action and if they planned to was they hadn't. There was no plan in that they didn't need to. We have very independent teachers, and I agreed. We have wonderful teachers. However, it doesn't change the fact that poisonous materials put out by the teachers union, we should take a stand. I left the meeting without satisfaction, but left them to their business. Unfortunately, only days later, I see on social media a member of the school committee spreading support, other posts, reposting other posts in support of those who are guilty of instigating violence against others, against students, property damage, all kinds of stuff. Which is someone who is also promoting genocide, pro-Hamas, all that stuff, and it's not becoming of a school committee member. So I am coming before the board and the town because I think that all of you should be aware, the town should be aware. And as we go through the school budget in upcoming meetings, I think something that we should consider is whether or not our school committee and our superintendent will take action and actually put out a real public statement that that is not tolerated in Charlton, that this is still a no place for hate community, doesn't matter sexual orientation, color, race, religion, anything. And that we are not going to tolerate it. Put that statement out officially and say we also will not accept that kind of stuff being pushed by elected officials from the town of Charlton.
Thank you, Mr. Singer. Anyone else for community relations, open forum, anything for the good of the town? Seeing none, we're on to our first appointment of the evening. Always nice to see our highway department.
All right. First appointment is for the light equipment operator position at Highway. Attaches a request to appoint Nick Schwanier to the light equipment operator position at the Highway Department. Interviews were held by Nick Peel, Mark Oliver, and Lynn Dyer. 10 applications were received and interviews held with 3. I would agree and recommend the board make the appointment as requested.
And a shout out to Nick and Nick for being in the audience, always nice. Do I hear a motion for discussion?
Motion to appoint.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Do we have any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous. Nick, welcome to the show.
All right, next we have an appointment to the Community Center Feasibility Committee. Attached are 2 talent bank forms from Kathleen Dermody and Bruce Meenan seeking to be appointed to the Community Center Feasibility Committee. I recommend the board make the appointments. This is an ad hoc committee and the terms would expire upon completion of the duties assigned.
Thank you, Andrew. What's the pleasure of the board?
So
Do I have a second for discussion?
Second.
Any discussion?
For discussion, so what would this look like? What's the plan with this?
Committee has been appointed to look at the options available to potentially rehome the senior center to a different location.
The senior center and only the senior center or a community center for,
Whichever options the committee decides is the best for the town.
yeah, okay.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous. Thank you very much, Kathleen and Bruce. Notice of retirement, unfortunately.
All right, we received a notice of retirement from Robert Anderson, who notified us that he will be retiring from his position as light equipment operator for the Highway Department on July 24th, 2025, after 28 years working for the town. A certificate will be prepared closer to his retirement, and I'd like to thank Mr. Anderson for his dedication to the town.
20 years, a long time. Well done, Mr. Anderson. Do I have a motion?
With regret.
second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous. Got a few minutes before our 6:45. Andrew, can we hop down to new business 1, the
Right.
special ABC, please?
Yep, we have a request for a special alcoholic beverage license for the David Robinson wedding. Attaches an application submitted by David Robinson for a special alcoholic beverage license, wine and malt beverage to be used on May 10th, 2025, from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. at Camp Jocelyn for a wedding. The fire department has reviewed and approved the application by the police chief, building commissioner, and fire department. Per the board's policy, if the special alcoholic beverage license is approved, the dates on the license should be for the day before the event, the day of the event, and the day after the event to allow any leftover alcohol to be picked up.
Do I have a motion?
I move to approve the special alcoholic beverage license, wine and malt beverages as submitted by David Robinson for a wedding with the dates on the license to be May 9, 2025 to May 11, 2025.
Thank you, Select Person Zarowski. Do I have a second? Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous. Good luck with that. Yep, number 2, please, the Blueberry Festival.
All right, we have a request for a special event permit for the CAAC Blueberry Festival. Attaches an application for a special event permit from the Activities Council to be used for the Blueberry Festival on July 27, 2025, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Fort Dresser Hill. Application's been approved by Fire Department, Building Department, and Police Department. I'd recommend the board approve the request.
Always a wonderful event, so we thank you for that. Do I have a motion?
I would recommend the board approve the request. I'm just gonna add to it that I know that they're looking for the volunteers, for a while now. For the last 2 years, they've been struggling a little bit. So guys, if anybody wants to volunteer, this is a wonderful event, very well attended.
Excellent, thank you. Do I have a second for discussion? I have a second from David. Any further discussion?
Why is this, why do we have to appoint this every year?
Crowd size, as well as some other issues. It's,
But it isn't, it's a town-owned entity though, right?
correct, and Andrew, correct me where I go astray, but because it could be using public resources, more specifically Maynard Field and others, that falls under the purview of the Board of Selectmen. So therefore, any type of request like this has to come through us.
Okay. Oh, I'm fine with it. I'm just, yeah.
Yep.
Just wondering why we have to keep.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is unanimous. Cannot wait for it. Thank you very much. We have 5 minutes. What I would love to do is I would like to flip a phone. Rosalie, you're up.
So as for athletics, spring sports tryouts were held on 3/17. Congratulations to all the players who attended. More information to come as these spring teams begin their respective seasons. Always, if you are interested in attending sporting events, please check out the Shepherd Hill Rams website for more information about the game schedule. With the arts, the winter percussion students won their home competition this weekend. Congratulations to these students for performing so well, and thank you to all who made that possible. Shepherd Hill's award-winning show choirs, Fantasy and Illusion, are proud to have successful seasons so far this year. Last year, Illusion won first place with Best Vocals, Best Choreography, Best Fan, and a slew more things. And Fantasy won third place with the Best Small Mixed Band. We are so excited to see how they perform at their last competition next weekend. Drama is in production of their spring play, more information to come. And school-wide, NHS is hosting a hygiene drive at all schools in the district. Since there's only one more week left, we encourage all students and families to donate if they can. We're looking for cleaning products, soaps, feminine hygiene, and oral health products. And last Friday night, NHS held its winter service project, Kids Night Out, for the younger children in the school district. We had so much fun with the kids and hope to plan a similar event in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Rosie. I look forward to hearing eventually from where you decide that you want to go to university. Emma, you're up.
Okay, starting with school-wide, last week Bay Path had a successful and creative spirit week with the teachers and staff joining in as well, brightening our days and strengthening our school community. We thank our committee members for organizing another awesome spirit week. As for our sports, our spring sports have officially started, including track and field, baseball, softball, and more. Student athletes should get or have their schedule soon, as well as our school website. We are so excited for our spring season, allowing students to showcase their skills and continue to be a part of our wonderful family. Moving on to Student Council and Steering Committee, our members are actively involved in the preparation for junior and senior prom, focusing on decorations, music, and event logistics. Their goal is to make this year's prom a truly special occasion for each class, and we thank them for their hard work and cannot wait to see how everything turns out. And as always, don't forget to stop by the new Minuteman shop when you visit for a delicious meal or for any service provided by our salon. It's a great spot to support student initiatives and school spirit.
Thank you, Emma. Well done, and same goes for you. I look forward to both celebrating and slightly embarrassing both of you once you finally make a formal decision, so cannot wait to hear. All right, we're actually good on time. Ashley, you want to come on up?
Well, myself.
Is this a bad time to talk about the deputy chief's birthday? No? Okay. No. Okay.
Oh, yeah, happy birthday, Gary.
Yeah,
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Gary.
poor Gary.
Just
No, we don't. No. I'll give you $5 if you don't.
2 minutes of filler.
So our inimitable finance director will be giving us a presentation on basically a state of prior fiscal year's financials. And I really cannot say enough of wonderful things about this presentation and the full document, so very well done.
Thank you. So, good evening, Select Board, and thank you for the opportunity to present one of the many initiatives that the Finance Office has been working on very hardly through the past few months. For those that don't know me, my name is Ashley Oberza. I'm the Finance Director and Town Accountant for the town, and I'm here to present our Annual Comprehensive Financial Report, or ACFR for short. In previous years, we've only ever submitted audited financial statements per GAAP standards. This is like a step above that. So this is the first time we've ever done this, so it's very exciting. So hence the reason why I'm here to present. Let's see. Just for some context, I've created put together a few slides to explain kind of the process that we went through before we dive right into the ACFR. So, and I won't go through all 123 pages for you guys either. I'll just scroll through quickly. But a little bit of background about the ACFR. It's submitted to the GFOA, which is the Government Finance Officers Association. And by preparing this comprehensive report, we become eligible for the GFOA's Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting, or the COA. The COA program was designed to encourage and recognize state and local government official or government agencies for going above and beyond the minimum requirements of GAAP, which are generally accepted accounting principles, and demonstrating transparency and full disclosure in their financial reporting. Just a little bit about who the GFOA is. While our previous financial statements met GAAP standards, the ACFR provides more detailed financial information and clearer pictures of the town's financial health. It offers an opportunity to provide the public and readers with a more comprehensive insight into our finances. And this is a lot about what the Certificate of Achievement and Excellence of Financial Reporting is. There were several additional requirements that we had to meet to prepare the ACFR. For example, this year we were required to submit the report by January 31st. In years ahead, when we continued to submit this, we had to submit by December 31st. They give you an extra 30 days when it's your first one. So the ACFR must also include an independent auditor's report, which also so did our GAAP financials. But this adds another layer of transparency and credibility to our financials. The GFOA strongly recommends that all local and state government offices prepare and publish an ACFR as opposed to regular GAAP financial statements. And I'm excited to say that we're now part of that group. The ACFR is designed to give readers a much broader range of important financial information, which will help them better understand the town's finances. After submission of the GFOA's Special Review Executive Committee will review our ACFR for consideration for the COA award, and we expect to hear back from them in about 6 to 9 months. And just a little bit more about it. And when we do get our fancy award, I know Pete's not here tonight, but the award letter will go to him and we'll get a nice fancy plaque the first time. And then after that, we just get usually a paper award, but they give you a cool little plaque the first time.
Cool.
So I won't walk you through the whole ACFR, but I'll give you a little bit of a glimpse. So this is the cover page with a nice little rainbow picture here over our cemetery. And then just some information about some cool pictures that we had. Let's see. Scroll down here to there's a little introductory that tells you this is all the information that has to be required in here. It's very long, I won't go into depth into it, but it goes into more depth than our normal GAAP accounting financial reports did. So this is actually gonna be really good for when we go out to the market too, for bonding. For the substation. So hopefully this will put us a step above and help readers better understand our finances. So I'd like to take this opportunity to express my gratitude to our incredible finance team for all their hard work. We have a truly dedicated group, and their collaboration and efforts have been vital in completing this report. And lastly, I'd like to thank the board for your time and your support. And then if you guys have any questions.
Please, Ashley, so once we get this posted up online, which I'm hoping we're going to do.
Yes.
Is it fair that for most people who want policy wonks like us, that pages 90 through 29 with the management discussion
Yep.
might be most helpful for them?
Yes, I would agree. So that would go into, I think that will highlight most of what our GAAP statements did, but it gives you more of a management discussion on everything in there, so.
Couple quick questions for
Yes.
you. I know in the doc, due to the actuarial changes, I know that there was a discussion around OPEB funding, and that we're still looking at, I believe, fully funded 10 to 12 years. And I would just recommend that the future iterations of the board continue to work with Andrew and Ashley, et cetera, to figure out, again, based upon actuarial discussions and decisioning at the state, that can have a definitive impact on what that range is. So you may want to consider putting additional monies away per year. A lot of municipalities either underfund it or don't fund it at all, and that is going to cause a problem down the road. Thankfully, we are doing what I consider to be a wonderful job through Ashley and Andrew's leadership. But again, I think that's something we have to continue to identify.
We did just get kudos points the other day from our, the ratings company S&P and from our financial advisor for funding more than we normally do and being ahead of most communities in the state, so kudos to us.
Yeah, well, very well done. The second, it's question / again, future consideration. I noticed in the doc that there was a discussion around a lack of policy for both deposit and bond investments. That may just be something from a overall fiduciary policy that we might want to consider in the future to see, you know, where that plays, just based upon different like interest rate swings and what that determination is. I don't think there's any issue right now, like at all.
Right.
It just, for future folks coming in, I think having a formal policy, or at least having perhaps an informal policy, might help you set some additional guardrails.
Yep.
So again, just something to think about.
Yep.
And lastly, I know there was a lot of discussion around the ARPA funds in that, knowing that that's obviously gone now. But as people read through that, just recognize that ARPA is now, for all intents and purposes, done. I think we moved everything last year.
Right, so everything's been allocated to its projects, which met the December 31st deadline, essentially. The largest pool was for radio system improvements. That's kind of the one that's just being drawn down right now. So,
Yeah, I think we have until the end of this calendar year to finish spending. It just
year.
had to, next year, it had to be all allocated, so it's essentially done. We can't really change anything now, so.
And it's probably a segue into our conversation in a few minutes around the budget. I think, correct me, Ashley, I'm going off memory here. 40%, 47% of our budget goes to our education system? Or is it higher?
I think it might be a little bit higher.
I thought I saw 47 there, but I may be.
I think it's closer to 50, but.
I know Andrew probably has a
Yep.
nice comparison in his report there.
I did somewhere.
Oh, as Andrew's looking through this, I suppose what I'm getting at for those in the audience as well as those at home, that will continue to be our singular largest expenditure every year. So we have to continue to look at that every year to make sure that we are funding them properly. But in fairness, there also is an expectation around, even though some people hate when I say this, a certain return on investment. But again, it's even rounding at 50%. That's a pretty significant part of our budget that goes into the school system, but it's also the highest employer. It's also, again, literally investing in our futures. So again, just as I start to wind down, not that I'm counting 39 days, it's something to think about as we continue our budget discussions. So,
Right.
but actually, honestly, I can't say enough of good things about what you, the team, and Andrew did on this. Seriously, fantastic.
Thank you. So this will now be a yearly occurrence. This is how our financials are gonna be reported going forward now, so fingers crossed, and say 6 more months, we find out if we win, so. Our auditor did say he has never lost one. He's never been not awarded something, so I'm not going to be the first, I'm just saying.
Right? Additional questions for Ashley?
Wonderful work.
Thank
I really
you.
did work today. It was actually a pleasure.
Beautiful.
Yeah, there's some nice pictures in here that we took from some of the, like, I know that cemetery picture, I'm pretty sure was like a citizen picture.
Yeah.
That was sent over to Jim, so it's really pretty. Our auditor really liked that one. He picked, I sent him the pictures and he picked where he wanted to place them, so this is actually a really nice cover. So, and also if anyone has pictures that they'd like to submit to me, actually, if I scroll through here, there's a nice picture of some people that might look familiar in here. Let's see if it's after this letter.
Nobody wants to see the Board of Selectmen.
You're in here.
The graphs look good.
The graphs came out
are
really
all-
nice,
The
yeah.
graphs are all going in the right direction.
Yeah, our graphs really grew. Some nice familiar faces there for everybody. So you guys made the effort, so.
Oh, thank you.
For those who do financial analysis or are interested in just overall security analysis, this is very similar to a 10Q or 10K. So, so just think about it that way.
Yes,
But
which we don't normally do, so
Right.
this is cool to put together, because I used to do those when I worked for the public, or the private sector, so I
Yeah.
used to put those together.
I'm so sorry.
I know,
Yeah, awesome. Cool.
so this was fun. So,
That's one word for it.
Thank you.
No, Ashley, awesome job, seriously. Any final questions, comments for Ashley?
And I don't know if you guys have this, but Andrew or I can share it out too if you guys haven't seen it.
No,
Yeah.
I have
It's
it.
really long, so I
I
didn't
have
wanna
it.
print
I
it for you.
That was sent over. But I would love to get
We
this
have
up
it.
on the website.
Yes,
if we
that's
could.
my goal for tomorrow.
That'd be great.
Thank
Share
you.
it with FinCom tomorrow, and then I'll put it
I'm
up online.
looking at it.
Rock and roll.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ashley. I wouldn't go too far, though, because,
I'm gonna hand the reins back
yeah,
in.
Oh, they go too far.
we're going to segue to our favorite thing, reviewing the draft budget.
Might as well stay here so I don't get.
Yeah, honestly, don't go
For
too far.
talking off mic.
Mr. Golis, let me turn it over to you.
All right, so we put together the draft budget. Really, this is just for a preliminary review tonight. The Finance Committee is looking to kind of dig through this more in depth tomorrow to provide their formal recommendations, but it was really kind of drafted based off of feedback that we received from both the board and Finance Committee so far through the process. We do still need to hear from Bay Path tomorrow night, and then they'll really kind of dig into it. But right now, essentially from the general government side, we're essentially looking at status quo with no additional positions on in the general government. From the public safety side, we've included the provisions for an administrative sergeant and an additional emergency telecommunicator. From the fire and EMS side, we've included an EMS officer position. Just jumping back over to general government right now, we do have two outstanding, actually I should say 3 outstanding contracts right now. One that should be settled soon, 2 that are going into negotiation. Until those are settled, the expected financial impact for those is living in the human resources budget. So it may seem a little bit inflated right now, but that will come down once those contracts settle and go into their appropriate contracts.
And there's the 2 retirements are in there
And 2
too.
retirements as
Yeah.
well.
Andrew, I know people often look at percentage increases, so if you could talk to the debt service increase a bit, please.
Yeah, so the debt service increase for this year is essentially kind of the first bite at, will be the fire station project. We're also preparing for some debt for the landfill capping project as we go into that. And so a majority of that amount is debt excluded, but it does include about
100 for landfill, 130.
and
I think
for inside the
landfill.
cap,
And then, what'd you say?
inside the levy
Inside the
limit.
levy, and then I think there's another 70, I think the 130 was the interest for the substation for the inside the levy part. And I think 70,000 or 74,000 was for the landfill cap.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And then I think we have a little bit in there too for interest for the fire engine. In anticipation that it will pass at the Maytown meeting, we have the debt service in there too.
Does anyone remember what our outstanding liability on the cap is at this point?
What do you mean?
I mean, how much more do we owe after this?
Well,
This
we're,
will be the first
2
one.
million, that will be the.
I was gonna say 2 million.
Yeah, that's what we
total.
approved
Yeah.
a couple years ago,
Yeah,
so that
gotcha.
we're just finally going out to
Yep.
borrow for that now. We haven't done anything for that
Yeah.
yet.
Just so everyone knows, so we already approved it.
Correct.
But this is not a minimal fix. This
Yeah.
is a pretty expensive.
We're
thing.
hoping that we finish the project with that 2 million, yeah.
Yeah.
What's the timeline on that we have to complete that, or?
Do you remember?
We've been kind of at the will of Mass DEP. So we just received the Mass DEP approval about 2 weeks ago to proceed with the procurement phase of that. So right now, we're looking at procuring the project starting in the summer, executing a contract prior to the end of the summer, doing a lot of the work over the fall and winter periods, and then the official cap on that, on the materials that are brought in spring, summer of next year. So the project should be done about a year and a half from now on the cap. But we've timed the debt pretty well because specifically for the fire station, because the debt exclusion portion, at least on the initial borrowing, is coming on at the year after the last payment on the DPW garage.
Yeah.
So there won't be a dip.
Right.
It'll be
Right,
almost a
right.
level
Yes.
increase.
So
throughout
so the final payment was in July of this past year, so that was for your FY '25 budget, so the debt exclusion for that piece is falling off while the first little portion of the fire substation is rolling on, so you won't have that lag, which, the borrowing companies don't like to see when you have a lag, so it's perfect timing.
So that speaks to that portion of it. Just jumping back up real quick, there was a request from the finance, or from building office that was supported by the finance department to increase the department assistant in the building inspectional services from a part-time position to a full-time position. That's included in here. And then council on aging, right now, essentially, last year, they were budgeted for a full-time cook's position. That funding was then used to supplement the Overlook Meals Program. They've decided to discontinue the Overlook Meals Program, and the funding from that is now going to go into an into increased hours for the activities assistant position, which is currently vacant, to try to increase the pool of applicants for that and address some needs that they have.
No, it's a very innovative approach. That's good.
Yeah. Other than that, it's kind of like, we have healthcare increase. We're a big hit this year. It's been a big hit to a lot of towns. Right now, we're looking at a 19% increase for next year, but that's been included in here with all budgeted positions estimated. And then fully funding right now what the school has requested, both DCRSD and BayPath.
Questions or concerns from the board? Mr. Singer?
Just a comment. I remember we were talking about prioritization, and Mr. Borowski and I both had prioritized public safety as number one. I can't remember, and I won't speak for anybody else because I don't remember where they were on that. I thought I saw a list of priorities that came out that might be going for tomorrow night for FinCom that put public safety number 4. And like permitting is like number 2. I just want to make sure that
Oh, I see that.
we were prioritizing public safety, above any permitting, everything else should be way below public safety. Just want to make sure of that.
Say with this budget, we're balancing out essentially the Board of Selectmen and the Finance Committee's priorities. I'd say from the public safety side, we've funded 4 out of 5 or 3 out of 4 of the asks?
I think we
Okay.
3 out of the 4.
Yeah, 3 out of 4 of the asks. I think there was only 1 position asked, but, it was essentially a part-time position that we're looking that one of the new full-time positions could help supplement.
Any questions or concerns from the audience? Cool. Hearing none, I think we are good on that, if the board's okay. All right, Ashley, nice job.
Thank
Andrew,
you.
nice job as always. Again, many more discussions to come on this, I'm sure. All right, next up, we are talking around the actual warrant, and we may actually be closing it as well. Mr. Golos.
All right, so here you have the warrant articles that have been submitted so far. From the general side of the house, it's kind of the same basic 12 articles that we always have. Once we have everything in place, obviously these will expand, but it's the same general headings of, budgets for the individual, the budget, water, sewer, capital items, litigation, appropriation of bills of a prior year, interdepartmental transfers, cemetery, perpetual care, and revolving funds. Beyond that, there is currently 10 zoning-related articles that have been submitted. All these still kind of have to run through their planning board process, so all of these might not end up moving forward, but I at least wanted to get them into the draft warrant, so that way, if they decided to pull these, they could easily be pulled rather than adding them later.
Do we have any draft citizen petitions at this point?
I do not have any draft citizens petition articles.
Thank you. Questions from the board on the draft warrant? Anything that we would like to include or not additionally? All right, hearing none, I would entertain, unless we want to postpone, a motion to close the warrant. I have a motion from David. Do I have a second for discussion?
Second.
Second for discussion. Any discussion? All right,
None?
hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, as unanimous. The warrant is officially closed, and barring emergency, it's not getting reopened. Looking down at item number 10, the TA report.
All right.
Mr. Golos.
I will belay for most of my report tonight. Then please mind the construction going on. We're doing a little bit of facelifts around here, so. Most of our time's been dedicated to trying to get the budget prep ready, so.
Yeah, it works for me. Other business that may have come up that we didn't know about at the time. Hopefully nothing major. Okay, hearing none, we're good. Our next meeting is going to be April 8th at 6:30, again, back here. And I believe the week after that, we're meeting with FinCom.
Yes, so April 16th will be the date that, target, I know it is a Wednesday, but you guys will go into their meeting.
Do we need any other conversations with the school committee, or are we in a pretty good spot at this point?
I think we've,
They'll be at that meeting.
Oh.
I don't know if it's the whole school committee, but Dudley Charlton School District's going to present.
Oh, they are?
Tomorrow, right?
On the 16th.
On the
The
16th.
16th?
Oh,
Oh,
on the
cool,
16th.
okay.
We'll all be there together.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, that's good.
I don't believe so. Right now, we've budgeted for their requested
For their
number,
ask.
so we haven't heard any other noise since. So.
Even better. All right, last call from anyone in the audience? Again, hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all's in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, as unanimous. Thank you, everybody. Again, happy birthday, Gary.